Next, I want to talk to you guys about frequency filters and then some EQ. In addition to noise gates, you can apply frequency filters on any channel inside the Behringer wing. To do so, you have to select that channel and then toggle to the home page. Once you're at the home page, you can apply the filter by finding the box on the right-hand side here that is labeled filter. You have two different kinds of filters that you can apply. A low-cut filter that cuts low frequencies like low rumblings or bass, and the high-cut filter that cuts high frequencies. To turn it on, you simply just press the box. The blue will indicate that this is applied. You'll also notice that another knob appears here at the bottom. This allows you to select where you want that low-cut frequency to start. The higher the frequency, you'll notice the more of the low frequencies are going to be cut. You can also apply a high-cut filter, and this is going to cut high frequencies. You turn that down, and more of the frequencies in the high end are cut. You can also access your filter frequencies by selecting the EQ box on the left-hand side of the home page. It's going to be the fourth box down. Once you're in the EQ box, up in the top right-hand corner, there's another tab called Filter. You just click on that, and there you go. You can adjust the filters. Now that we understand a little bit more about filters and what they might do to a sound, let's dive in and listen to what they actually sound like and talk about when we would actually use them when mixing. So for this example, I'm going to start us out with pink noise to help us understand what frequency filters sound like when they're applied to a signal, and then we'll jump into some ideas about why you would be using a frequency filter on certain instruments and signals coming into the board. So this is a channel that I'm running pink noise through. I'm going to open up our EQ here on the bottom and go over to the filter section and turn on our low-cut filter. And so what I want you guys to listen for is how the low-cut frequency filter cuts out those low frequencies. I'm going to pull in the pink noise, and pink noise sounds kind of like this. Okay, so it's that just static sound. This has a relatively flat frequency response, and notice as I turn the low-cut frequency up, those low frequencies start to get cut out. You really start to notice it around the 400 hertz. So that's a clean example of what a low-cut frequency filter does on pink noise. And that's what it sounds like, cutting out the low frequencies. And for a high frequency cut, this is what it sounds like on pink noise. You'll notice a lot more prominent cut of the high end because of the nature of the pink noise signal. And again, when you turn the high cut frequency up, those high frequencies will come back in. So that's what frequency filters sound like coming through a very uninteresting noise signal, but you can really tell how they cut those low frequencies and they cut the high frequencies according to where you set those filters. So when would you actually even use these frequency filters? Well, there are many different practical uses for them and artistic uses for them, but I just want to give you two examples to get you guys started of where I use frequency filters relatively frequently. The first example I want to give you is a bass signal. So here I have a bass signal coming through the console, and it sounds like this. What you'll notice right away is that there's this awkward high buzzing sound that's coming through the signal. And that is something we definitely do not want coming through our bass channel. So to get rid of that, we can apply a high cut filter. And notice how those gross ringing high frequencies are cut out of this signal. Great. And now we're only left with the low frequencies, which is what we want from a bass channel. I also use frequency filters very often on vocal channels because microphones will pick up frequencies that I don't necessarily need coming through a vocal channel. For me, one of the largest frequencies is the low end in a vocal channel. I don't necessarily need the low end because it will muddy up the mix or it'll interfere with other instruments that need to live down there. And honestly, our voices don't often have that much bass in real life, but the microphone will make it seem as if someone's voice is very bassy unless we cut out that low frequency. So let's take a listen to this channel. I have a vocal track coming through here.
Good, you are good to me.
Okay, and that is the vocal without any filters on it, or really any adjustments on
You
it.
have always been patient. You have always been kind.
It'll be hard to notice the low frequencies at first, but let's take a listen to what happens when I apply a low-cut filter to this signal.
Bless you, standing firm upon your truth, knowing you cannot be shaken, 'cause I've seen what you can do.
And what you'll notice right away is it starts to sound like the vocals are coming through a radio.
In the morning I'll sing you. Always been enough. Though the night make it darker, though the waiting
While this
seems
might sound
long,
relatively unnatural on its own, this is something that actually can really help your mix out because you can trim off those low frequencies that will otherwise compete with other instruments when it doesn't really need to. The vocals just need to sit on top of the mix and be clear and stand out in the front.
in the evening I'll sing you are good. You are good to me.
So just to review, I'll oftentimes put a low-cut filter on vocals to make sure that the low frequencies that I don't necessarily need for my mix aren't coming through that channel. And sometimes I'll apply a high-cut frequency filter on my bass channel to make sure that there's no awkward hissing from an amp coming through that signal, and I'm just getting the pure low end to mix into my final mix.